everybody, my name's Kiahonfire and welcome to a Conan Exiles video looking at the SIPTAH armours, weapons and all sorts. So it has been a really big question in my comments ever since I did the dungeon armours video on, what happens to the stuff on SIPTAH. Now, if you haven't watched previous videos showing that there are sorcery places on SIPTAH, SIPTAH is affected by this update, so there are sorcery things, and of course the attributes all around for all the armors and everything else have been tweaked a bit in some ways, and that has affected some like SIPTAH stuff, but on the other regards it hasn't. So things like, let's have a look in here. This is probably the armor that people were most worried about changing in this update. And I can say that some of it still has all of its unique buffs, so you still have your Great Wolf Strength, and the same with the chest plate, you have the Rage, you still have your unique buffs, it's not gone, but there is some additional things in there now that you're going to notice, like if you were to wear the Aspect of Jill, you would get an agility weapon damage bonus by plus 6%, so that wasn't there before, so that will show you that you're going to have a big buff with agility stuff if you decide to go for a helmet of Jill. And it's the same with like the boots of the serpent, you get a plus 45 in carrying capacity, and just so on. Like the fist of the drowned, that's quite neat, you get plus 40 health and plus 6% agility weapon damage, really good with the cold and all of that. So yeah, it hasn't really changed that much, bar a few objects here and there when it comes to these really special items. Like this one's a concussive damage and health, and then this one's a strength weapon bonus, and then you can see some of them have not changed at all, so don't worry about that. If anything, those have had like a bit of a buff in some places, really, compared to the last time we were looking at these armors and stuff, but they are relatively pretty much the same. Now, those are not the only things that exist on the SIPTAH. You also get all the special vault weapons. You also get all the special delving armor that has been changed. You also get all the delving, weapons and stuff. That, of course, would have had a bit of a change. Now, when it comes to weapons and stuff, it's not so much different. So when it comes to weapons in 3.0, how it works is you have certain classes weapons, like your daggers, your bow, and stuff like that. Those are classed as agility weapons. And then when it comes to your hammer, your war axe, your spear, anything like that, your swords, those are classed as strength weapon damage. And that goes for every single weapon in the game under those class types. So that's pretty much what that has done. It hasn't changed unique buffs on these. They still have the same, thing that they were good for, like the annoying shard still has gouging, but you're going to notice it's now a strength weapon, as will any other war axe be a strength weapon. And it's the same with any other dagger. Those are also going to have, all of that. Even the fist knives and claws, those are all agility weapons, bows, agility weapons, so on. That's how it goes, that's how it works. So out of anything in being different, it's more the armor that's had more of a big change. You're gonna still see all your favorite pieces still have their unique buffs. They will just have a different class of damage on them now. They're either going to be agility damage or strength damage, and those will scale off of either if you have armor that buffs it, or if you use a potion, or they will buff off of your attributes. So if you up strength, you're going to be better at doing strength damage. If you do agility, you'll be better at agility damage. That's how it goes. So none of these have really changed. You'll be glad to hear. They still have poison on them, still have sunder weapons, they are still, normal. They just have a class on the side now, that's all. So now we've discussed that and addressed that, we will look at the things that have actually changed the most when it comes to delving, SIPTAH, and stuff like that. So the weapons are fine, they're just different classes now, as will any other weapon be in the game. That's just how it goes now. Anyway, talking about these, of course they would have changed because you don't have survival or accuracy anymore. So things that you're used to before, let's say the survivalist hood, you now get plus 40 in health and plus 30 in carrying capacity. If you're wondering about how your weight scales and you're wondering if you still have the armour that does encumbrance, carrying capacity pluses is your encumbrance. So you're going to see with this armour, it ups your carrying capacity and health, but to be honest, if you wanted the biggest boost here, you would just want to wear the hood really, and then see if you can match it with any other armour that perhaps gives you a better bonus on these parts. So it's a bit of a mix and match now. You're going to be a bit more of a hodgepodge weirdo depending on what you want. Like, let's say like you wanted all carrying capacity. I don't know if I have one here. Let's say this one did also encumbrance, and then you wanted this one to do encumbrance, and then this one. You could essentially, yeah, just have a mix and match of different items that will do that and stuff. And of course, you're going to see with a lot of the different parts now as well, there is that strength and agility weapon damage buff. Strangely enough, when it comes to the Dune Hunter though, it's kind of like a mixture, so you get both in the armor type. You even have the trousers that do both. It does both strength damage and agility weapon damage, so perhaps that's more for people who want like a, you know, a bit of both worlds. They want to do a bit of archery and they want to do a bit of smacking with a sword kind of dealio. And then you're going to see with these other pieces, we were talking about the weight earlier. You get it in the survivalist leggings, but if you didn't, you could use the druid wrap instead. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of these pieces are carrying capacity, follow damage. To be honest, a lot of them are kind of a bit random for me. Like, I would have thought they would have made a set more specifically to what they wanted, because they seem to be straying away from jack of all trades kind of builds. However, with a lot of these sets, you're going to notice this has follower damage, health, and it also has carrying capacity. And then just some of them are just really weirdly mixed. Like this is again a mixture of agility, strength damage, and has health in it. And then this one is like stamina, agility, strength weapon, agility, stamina in these, agility, stamina. It's just really strange. A bit of a weird mix if you ask me. Night Stalker Hood, you would expect this to be like all agility weapon damage, wouldn't you? But no, it has strength weapon damage, agility weapon damage in it too. Just really weird. And don't worry, the Void Forged armor still has that nice set bonus. It hasn't changed. And this set actually has pretty much stayed the same. There's no difference here. And then you're going to notice with these sets, again, it's just, this one probably makes more sense. It has agility weapon damage, carrying capacity. I can imagine if you want to go around with a set of daggers and flip your stuff home, then maybe you would want to use that and you would defend yourself that way. This one, strength weapon damage. See, this one is consistent. This is what I expected to see more, instead of having a random hodgepodge of stuff. This one, all +6s in weapon damage for strength. So you could be a bit more of a glass cannon here with a light armor and, you know, have this. And remember, if you were to craft these yourself with a better thrall, then you can expect a better percentage, okay? So you're not just going to be stuck at this. This is base stuff that I haven't crafted with a thrall or anything like that. And then this one, this is all agility weapon damage. So if you wanted to be a bowman or a dagger person, actually makes sense. It says marksman stuff. That's all agility, so that's one class. And then we have the cannibal stuff, which also seems to be all strength weapon damage. Looking at our final chest of really popular ones, including the Black Knight hoods and stuff like that. Those are things people really like with this armor set. So looking at the Gladiator helmet, +10, +10, +10, +10. This is all stamina armor. Looking at Chieftain is another weird hodgepodge of stuff. This one is even weirder. This is like proper jack of all trades here. Health, follower damage, carrying capacity, health, health, stamina, health, strength weapon damage, and health agility weapon damage. So the health is consistent, but all the buffs are really random. So I suppose if you wanted a really healthy build, you could go with this one. Then it comes to the Black Knight hood, which is probably one of my favourite armors when it comes to SIPTAH. And they've gone for the health route, so this makes you really healthy, gives you strength weapon damage, more health, more strength, and more health. So it's a health strength build for this armor now. So this probably is still really useful for me because I love war axes and I like having a big HP pool, so this one is really ideal. Looking at the vicious stuff, this has strength and stamina written all over it. That's again more of a consistent build, not really random hodgepodge too much. And then the Frost Giant one seems to be, you know, health and strength, weapon damage, so that's not too random. Those work in tow with each other, so those go pretty good. So that's pretty much what's happened to the different delving armors in SIPTAH, and that is what's happened to different weapons and stuff, and your specialized armor. So don't worry, it's not been nerfed. Like, if anything, I would say it's probably been made better with the system they're going with. Like, it's more clear, concise, and you're probably going to get better buffs using this system, like better health, and know what you're putting on and what it's going to give you exactly. So you can make proper better builds. So I'm going to make one up and see if you like it. Okay, so here's a bit of an encumbrance build. It is like really random mix and match, but remember you'll be able to use transmog and whatever else. So this one I based around giving you a really high carrying capacity buff. Now I couldn't find any gloves or boots out of the delving stuff that actually gave you a bonus in that, but I did find the Survivalist Hood gives me 30, Remnant gives me 30, Remnant Tacit gives me 30, the Yamatai Demon Gloves give 15, and so do the Silent Legion boots. In comparison to the other bits here, so like the Survivalist Chest Guard and the leggings, they are like 50% worse than this Remnant stuff that you can make instead. So if you can get the Remnant, like a chest and skirt, it's going to be better than the Survivalist ones. So you would want to opt for that, and it's going to be the same with the Wild Druid, unless you wanted a bit more health on there. So this is a carrying capacity build, so this is what I could pull together for that. Seems to work pretty well, and you can see the attributes and items. I get a plus 120 extra points in encumbrance from just my items I'm wearing. So that's kind of how it would go if you wanted a weighty armor set, because I have seen people talking about that as well, being like, oh well, they don't have encumbrance anymore, so how am I going to scale with that? And to those people, you can wear this type of armor, or you put points in expertise and strength, because strength also helps you carry things slightly. So if I was to put a point in strength, have a look at my encumbrance, you can see it is 91.69 / 385. If I up that, you can see I have 388 now. Now if it comes to the expertise, 388 plus it, and I have 403. So that gives me a bit more of a bigger bonus if I do put it in this one than that one. But if you wanted even more, you could plus both. So let me just do it all the way. It doesn't really matter what I pick in strength. Let's do expertise and just boost it all the way over encumbered. Woo! You can see with this armor set on, with my expertise and strength all the way up, you can see I have 550 encumbrance. So I have a lot I can carry now. I'm like the carrying god. And then if you wanted to, you could give yourself food that helps you with encumbrance too, and elixirs. And I found myself a couple of elixirs. Here we go. You can see if I eat this, it gives me plus 45 carrying capacity. Yummy. That's going to last me probably about an hour, so I can get an hour's worth of farming. And that nearly ups my encumbrance by another 100. So if I ate some food that also helped with encumbrance, that's going to up it even further. So you'll be able to carry a lot, okay? You will be good. And if you get the expertise perk Beast of Burden, when over encumbered you can dodge and move at full speed, then that will help you also. And then of course if you wanted to do any farming stuff here, you could also do these too. And then this one, if you're doing the strength one and you want to farm, you probably want to go for second skin, because equipped armor weighs 25% less. And then the N2 doesn't really matter so much what you pick. Perhaps you'd want to go for the Berserker one, because that might help you if you got chased by a bear or something. I don't know. You could also, I suppose, if you have extra points, perhaps you would want to put it in grit, so you have more stamina as you go along, and you regenerate it more, and bloody blah. You could go for anything here. Yeah, it would work out, and then you would have a great encumbrance build. Woo! But yeah, don't worry about the SIPTAH armor. It's still safe. It still does the same thing. You know, happy days. And then, to be honest with this, you can make more wacky builds, or actually probably make it better. To be honest, the way you can do this kind of armor right now in comparison to the old encumbrance builds and stuff, yeah, it's a bit more frustrating trying to find all the pieces that do the best and then what's a lower percentage, what's a higher percentage. But I think you can make some more interesting builds with how they've done it now in comparison to the old version, and it's way more clear how much you're getting out of the armour in comparison to the old version, where I would have just said, oh, this is grit armour or something. This one shows you the exact amount of what you're going to get out of it. So yeah, I would say this is a good change. Like, it is a bit annoying now that you have to kind of relearn like what does what and bloody blah, but I did think like this needed a change, and it's a good change, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk to you about. Don't worry about your SIPTAH stuff. The unique perks and stuff is still there. You won't be losing your lovely wolf armor and whatever else. You have that all, and it will be great. But anyway, thank you for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.